We appreciate you joining us. Welcome back. Dime to Diamonds right here with you, 918-890-8311. That website, dimetodiamondsradio.com. You know, annuities, they have come a long way since your parents or even your grandparents had one. Back then, high commissions often benefited the actual seller than the retiree, giving the products a bad reputation. But Morningstar analyst Don Phillips says it's time to rethink that because annuities have evolved.
People think of investing as a game, and who ends up with the highest pile of cash wins that game. But you really need to realize that investing is a means to an end. And things like annuities are something that fit into that and can be a very helpful part of giving people greater security. And to me, the whole reason that you help people with investing is that you give them that kind of security, that stability, so that they can know that their financial future is firm, so that then they can, go and pursue their dreams, do the things that really matter to them.
Well, I mean, and that's very important. So where do annuities fit with the goal of having that stability, confidence, all of this, not just the growth aspect?
Well, today's fixed annuities, they provide the principal protection, the growth potential, and then the guaranteed lifetime income. Jess, I want to say one of the first books I wrote, I had a whole chapter on why annuities are bad. Because back then, and that's what I tell people, the annuity that your grandfather bought way back when and the annuities available today, they are about as similar as a flip phone, to our iPhone. They're still a phone, but they're totally different, or even a car, because they are investment vehicles. I'm like, the cars today compared to 20 years ago, no way, totally different. And there's bells and whistles today that we didn't have, and that's what I try to tell people is that those those annuities are an investment vehicle. They're a tool. It's not just that's the only thing that's out there. There shouldn't be. There's no way you should have all your money tied up in an annuity. It should be used for a plan. You shouldn't take all your money and go buy a bunch of cars that are sitting in your driveway. That's what I see people come in here with. Most recently, 17 of these annuities. And I'm like, oh my goodness gracious.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I think it's, the question isn't whether an annuity is a good vehicle. The question is whether it works well with your income plan.
Right.
So, for a lot of clients or a lot of individuals, 70 to 80% of their pre-retirement income would be needed to maintain that same type of lifestyle in retirement. So does an annuity fit into that plan to help generate that income and make it consistent?
Right. Annuities, they're not meant to replace investments. They're there to complement them, is what I try to tell people. And, we provide the those portfolio reviews to determine whether an annuity or some other strategy, whatever, is the most appropriate for them. And I know just that on this radio station before and after us, they really push annuities. And so people come in and they're like, almost like, please don't. And I go, no, I want to look and see what you have. And I'm telling you, I am amazed how spread out they are. And it's seriously, that's what I tell people. It's kind of like having 17 people, 17 vehicles. You're starting at your house and you're all going to the same destination. You have annual fees with all that. So it's like going through a toll booth and then all the gas that's taken up and all those vehicles going to the same place. So that's part of let's figure out what the end goal is and then find the most efficient way to get there.
Yeah, well, and I think it would be hard for them to be working together if they're spread out that far. And you want a portfolio that works with itself.
Right. And then those older ones, I know last week I looked at a couple of them, and they're just old indexes and old crediting strategies, and it's kind of just like an older car. It's not as gas efficient. It's clunky. It's not working right. And so that's where we're saying, these aren't bad, but pull them together. Let's look at a review and figure out what's really working, what's not. And then I think for me that those, not just retirement dollars, but the non-qualified money that sits there that people have, that they've got dividends and they've got them in CDs and stuff like that, that's causing the taxes to go up every year because even though they're not using that interest that they're earning, they're having to pay taxes on it instead of letting it be tax deferred.
Right.
So I don't know about you, but when people come in, they go, so I was thinking I have all these buckets. And so when I retire, I think I'm going to start pulling out of this one bucket. And then I think the next one out of this bucket. I'm like,
drain one to get to the next one. And
no. Yeah.
You got to
know. Let's get all this working together. Let's figure out what we're going to fit in one car on this journey, on this retirement roadmap we're going to put together, and make it most efficient.
Well, and can you share on, when we're looking at some of these, we talk about some of the older annuities for individuals, what it looks like when you suggest or identify some areas where maybe they need to get rid of that annuity and move it to a different annuity. What are some of the, people are afraid because?
Well, because they're tied. Maybe some of them are with the S&P 500 and it had a 2% cap. That means they're never going to make more than 2% or 4% cap. Where now you've got indexes that are with the Goldman Sachs or QQQ, or some of them are even going into crypto, that they're using that in part of the indexes. I don't know. There's all kinds of indexing strategies now that there never were before, and they're still evolving. And so that's where I like to look at those and say, hey, these were good back then. This isn't working anymore. Or you've got all these riders on all these policies. So $2,000 to $3,000 a year is coming out because it was supposed to be creating a paycheck that you're telling me you never want to create. You don't need it. You don't want it. And so that's so outdated. That might have been the idea, and that might have been the plan back then when it was sold to you. But now we've got a plan in place, and you don't need that. We need to accumulate and really preserve and quit paying all these fees out.
So if a listener is listening and they think they may have lots of annuities and it may be something that they need to have looked at, is that something that they should give us a call and you can help them identify?
Oh my goodness, yes, because we have the software to go and put that information in. We can see what the fee drag is on it. It'll tell us what that is. It'll tell us what the most they could ever make on those indexes based on today's market. And, AI or not, I don't know. It's just the software. It does all that. And then, we do put the fuzzy mount together and it always matches. I mean, it's exactly what we say. And that's where I think a lot of these different companies are really missing out. They're not taking the time.
Yep.
They've got, they work for somebody, so they have goals to meet, and all they're worried about is selling that next car or next vehicle instead of saying, hey, do you even need this?
Right.
Do you need all this right now?
I think an annuity x-ray is a great place to start. As you talked about a few moments ago, that individual that had like 17 annuities. Well, here's the thing. What worked, 5, 10, however many years ago isn't the same as today. And much like when you refi your home when interest rates are low, right? It's a great idea to refi your retirement when interest rates are high. You can take advantage of that, especially when you're on that annuity path as well. So you might go from 17 annuities down to maybe 1 or 2. This is all part of that annuity x-ray, making sure that you're using the right strategies, the right tools in place, and most importantly, getting that stability, that confidence, and yes, that growth out of that annuity. If this is a fit for you, if you're not sure, give a call today. We'll do this annuity x-ray complimentary for you. That phone number, 918-890-8311, 918-890-8311. That website, dimetodiamondsradio.com. Recently, Financial Advisor magazine tackled a delicate retirement topic here. What really happens to your taxes when you lose a spouse? The story's headline really says it all. Losing a spouse is hard, but the U.S. tax laws, they add salt to the wound. What are they talking about here, guys?
So I have seen many, many individuals and have talked with them after they've lost their spouse, and they're really surprised that next year, not only did they get less income, but they actually ended up with a higher tax bill. And so what a lot of individuals don't understand is that, that final year you get to file a married filing jointly tax return, but then the next year you're filing single, you're living on less income, but you also get less deductions and different things. So it throws you into a higher tax bracket. And so what a lot of people call this is the widow's penalty.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking on top of everything they're going through. I just had this last week, Jess. A sister brought in her sister. She's still just emotionally and mentally in a fog because of the shock of losing her husband. So the sister scheduled an appointment and brought her in. She was I think she's a listener, and then she went to one of our workshops. And I told them this is one of the most overlooked conversations in retirement planning. When someone loses a spouse, they're grieving. And at the exact same time, Uncle Sam often shows up, asking for more money. And many surviving spouses move into that higher tax bracket, like you said, and they pay more for Medicare. They see more of their Social Security taxed. Most people don't know this until it's already happened. And then, like we've said, that's 2 years.
Correct.
Once you get once Irma hits you, she's there for 2 years. So that's why we believe tax planning should happen before a crisis and not after one. Again, preaching our proactive if you can. But if not, if it's already happened, come on, bring your friend in, bring your loved one in, and let's talk. And if that's you, then set the appointment and come on in, because we can help you navigate emotionally and financially.
Well, and there's so many different things that are going on, like you say, the emotional side of it, but also, are there RMDs that need to be taken? Were they already being taken? Have they not been taken? Are they coming up? There's so many moving parts that emotionally you're trying to process that grief that you're not even thinking about any of the financial side of things. We also talk about the expenses around the house tend to go up because who used to do all the things, whether it's male or female. Men typically fix things around the house, but if it's a man that's left behind, he might need somebody to cook for him or to come in and clean. Yeah.
Those are the things we help navigate. It's like when somebody comes in and we're planning for retirement, I'm very adamant about making sure that if something happens to one of them, that income stays exactly the same.
Right.
But in that same breath, Rochelle, I'm also saying we want it to stay the same, but your tax situation is going to change because now you're going to be filing single. So we really have to help you navigate that transition as well. When I tell you about the 17, that was the last appointment last week, the 17 different IRAs. Yeah, they're RMDs. Word. And so I was asking, have you taken the RMDs last year? And she just looks at me and she's still clocked. She can't believe her husband's not around.
Right.
She closed up her house, locked the doors, went and bought a new place so she could have her sister move in with her. And her sister did the same thing. And they're both like, we need to sell our houses now. But we had to they're in survival mode. And I think that's what people don't plan and prepare for on the emotional side of it. Financially, she said he's done well.
Right.
But you need to give this to you that they're ready. They want you to look at their situation. I took a copy of the taxes, but they don't want to keep. She says, I need to do something. I can't afford to lose this much money in taxes.
Right.
Because things have radically changed for me in that way. And I need to sell my house, but I know it's only going to make Irma worse when and if I sell it, and she does. She doesn't need any more rental, those kind of things. And those are the conversations we're able to have and hold them through it. And say, hey, I got you. I don't tell them this, but I'm like, I'm just as concerned for you as you are. But I also know we have we have the solutions that we can provide them if they so choose to do that.
100%. I think it goes back to there's never a situation that can't be improved.
Yep.
Now, there may be levels of improvement that can occur. However, we can always help someone identify areas where improvements can occur. And walk people through. Many times we talk about education being empowerment, and that is what it is we can identify the different pieces that are coming, the different tax bombs that may be looming there, and we can give you different options, and then you can make that choice yourself as to which one you can best live with.
Which also brings me all the way back to Jess. I don't want our listeners to be surprised, but you're going to hear me as soon as you come in. We'll talk about where you're at. I will listen, to what's keeping you up at night. And then our foundation is I'm going to ask you if you have an estate plan and if it's up to date. Do you have a trust in place? Do you have medical directives? Do you have durable power of attorney? Because before any of that, it's kind of like, do you have all that in place, the insurance, and not meaning insurance, the literal, but that in place before we start making and educating you on a plan? Because really that's the foundation of it. And I am not an attorney. We are not a legal firm. They can do it themselves. I do have people here that will do that for them. The software we do have available to get those things in place. If they don't already have them in place, some people do. They're just really outdated.
Right.
Very, very outdated. And I'm still shocked at the people that come in and say, yes, I have a trust. And we go to the website for the county assessors and their house isn't in it.
Right. It's not been funded.
Right. And I'm like, how much did you pay for that? They're like $7,230. I'm like, okay, well, before you leave, let's do the quick claim affidavit of land ownership, and I'm going to send Nathan down to the county to get this recorded for you. It's added peace of mind, and that's what we do. That's what we do here, and that's where we're different, Jess. So if this is talking to you, listeners, please stop by, give us a call, set an appointment, whatever. We're really easily accessible.
Yeah, this tax analysis, guys, crucial here as they talked about the widow's penalty. It's very, very important to start planning this ahead of time so you're not sticker shocked when Uncle Sam knocks on that door there. If you'd like to come in for this tax analysis, we'll do a complimentary for our listeners today. 918-890-8311, 918-890-8311. That website, DimeToDiamondsRadio.com. Stick with us. Much more coming up with Suzanne and Rochelle right here on Dime to Diamonds. We'll be right back.
The people at JP Morgan found that if you have a steady, reliable paycheck coming in every month in retirement, you'll worry less and spend more. And that's what Suzanne Porsky and the team at Phoenix Financial Group have been doing for years. Find out what they can do for you. Call today for a no-cost, no-obligation meeting. 918-890-8311. That's 918-890-8311. Or visit DimeToDiamondsRadio.com and get it done with Phoenix Financial Group.
The headlines about Social Security and the stock market are crazy. There's a lot of things you can't control about retirement, but there's one thing you can. You can call Suzanne Porsky at Phoenix Financial Group. Call for a no-cost, no-obligation meeting today, 918-890-8311 or at DimeToDiamondsRadio.com.
Welcome back. This is Dime to Diamonds. Any questions about what we're talking about on today's show? Or maybe there's some financial topics that are keeping you up at night. If you're anything like Suzanne and myself, all of a sudden at 2 and 3 a.m., then my brain wants to wake up and ask every question that I hadn't thought of earlier that day. Sometimes it is about money and finances and what in the world's going on in our economy and the market. If that's you, give Suzanne a call today. Again, 918-890-8311. That's 918-890-8311. You can also check out that website, DimeToDiamondsRadio.com. So I saw this Social Security question from a Money.com reader, and they said they don't need the benefits when it comes to Social Security, but what they plan to do is claim it at full retirement age anyway. Then they want to turn around and invest the checks and let the money grow. On the surface, this doesn't sound like a terrible idea. I know you're going to take a deeper dive into it. Suzanne, what are your thoughts on this?
Rochelle, you go first here.
Yeah, so the strategy sounds really smart at first because people think that they're going to invest and this money's going to grow. But I think they forget about the guaranteed piece, which comes with Social Security, that increase, which I'll let you get into that more. But we had an individual in one of our seminars who brought this point up and kind of didn't want to let it go during the seminar because he was like, I can invest this and I can make it all in the market and it's just going to keep growing and that would just be better. And he never could get back to that piece of, well, it's guaranteed. And again, one strategy doesn't fit all for everybody because the other part is you lock that in once you make that decision. So,
right. And Social Security decisions should never happen in isolation. It's not just with one concept or one idea. I want to ask him because that was somebody today I had a conversation with. You're going to do that. Sounds like it's great. Can I talk to you about IRMA? Because you're going to be earning this over the next couple of years.
Well, wait a second. Who's IRMA? That sounds like somebody's aunt that nobody likes.
It is. It's an excise tax. It's an income-related Medicare cost. So if you make too much money, if they have a threshold, an income threshold, that's what determines how much the Medicare costs them. So people go, oh, it's $202 a month. Yeah, that's the base. Then if you make over that, and so this individual making $84,000 plus taking Social Security because he's past his FRA, full retirement age. So he doesn't matter how much income he's making, he can take it and invest it. Now he's getting himself, when he does go to retire, he wants to pull that Medicare. His Medicare, if it was today, is not going to be $202 a month. You could be $400 a month or $500 a month for 24 months because it's income tested. That's how they're going to determine how much your Medicare costs. So that's where it can't be done in isolation. You need to talk to a financial professional that is holistic and looking at your whole picture, that is going to do a financial needs analysis and say, okay, what's your ultimate goal here? What do you want to do? And how can we make this best fit?
Yeah, so I mean, I think it goes back to, it shouldn't just be a question of can I invest the money, but what creates the strongest long-term outcome? And I think that's what you're trying to get at, is that, you know, when you look at a portfolio, we don't look at one piece. All of the income streams have to work together, and they need to work together in the most efficient way possible to reach the individual's goal. And everybody's goal is different. So, you know, it may work for one, but it won't work for the other.
Right. And then once you trigger that Social Security, that's it. You're done. That's it forever. You can't, you can stop it. I did have somebody stop it and repay 2 years because they realized that they listened to their ex-husband that said, you should pull your Social Security while you're working. And I get you're 63 years old, but that doesn't matter. So that decision was made in isolation. And then her benefits were taxed so much because she couldn't live off of that $2,000 a month. She wanted to keep working anyways. And so making $80,000, $90,000 a year plus that, 85% of her benefit.
Well, and so we've talked a few times with individuals where it's a couple sitting in the class and they think that they get to get both of them, right? They get to get both of them or even one. She thought she was going to be able to get her husband's larger amount later, even though he had already selected it. So, maybe explain a little bit how that...
So they'll take it before their full retirement age. So they get the itch because everybody's like, you should take it. Even though you're working, take it and then just invest it. Like take that check and invest it. Well, you're not getting that full amount because you're working and you're under your full retirement age. So you're already taking a hit, a slice of what your primary insurance amount is, your full amount. You're taking a hit there.
So a lower monthly payment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then it's getting taxed. They do all this, they pull it, they're getting 85% taxed on all of it. Mm-hmm. It doesn't make sense if it's done in isolation. You've got to pull back and you've got to look at everything.
And the wife will only get that lower benefit for the rest of her life if something happens, or vice versa, whether, whoever passed first.
Yeah,
but that locks it in for life.
And at that workshop, remember, she said, well, if he passes away past his full retirement age, I get the bigger amount. And I go, what? Who said that? Because it's not the Social Security. It's not anywhere. That's a make-believe. And she's like, well, my friend at Mahjong was telling me that that's what happens. I go, well, she may know Mahjong. We know Social Security. I don't know Mahjong. That doesn't happen. It never changes. You might get COLA, cost of living adjustments, a little tiny bit. But other than that, you can't go in and say, oh, he declared it. He went in and got his Social Security at 67, that lower amount. He's now passed away at the age of 73. I'm going to go back in and ask him to give me that full retirement. No, they don't do that.
I also think it's unique because Social Security, everybody starts to draw that, and it's treated like a paycheck. So you would expect that taxes are being withheld from your Social Security benefits, but they are not unless you voluntarily withhold it. So even those individuals who might choose to take it earlier, or if you take it later, you might get a really large tax bill after that first year because this whole time you've thought they were withholding taxes and they weren't. So, it's very important to understand that you might need to go and voluntarily do that on your own or set money aside.
The other conversation we have is, and I had this with a person, that you don't get both when somebody passes away. You pick between the two, and Social Security will assume you want the larger. So you've just taken that hit. And that was a conversation is let's stress test both of these ideas here because the woman was going to get $3,300 a month on Social Security. The husband's getting $2,100. What happens when you lose his $2,100? Should he transition first, pass away first? What happens if you pass away? That's what I was asking her. What is he going to do about replacing? He's going to get that yours, but he'll get rid of his. And those are the conversations people don't have at Mahjong. Just telling you. I'm just joking because I really don't know. I've been to one. Those are the things that we have those conversations. And it usually, I feel like I'm coming across like we're doom and gloom. We're not. We're just saying, hey, here's a couple of things to just stew on. Kind of think about, let roll around in there. And this is what we're thinking when we're talking to you and listening to you. We're going through all of our decades of knowledge.
Yeah, and we want people to be comfortable for the entire life, whatever that might be. And so, asking those questions about what does it look like in 5 years? What does it look like in 10 years? And running all the different scenarios, it's just a nice different set of eyes of individuals looking at a situation and making sure that we're covering all the bases.
Right. So if you're listening and you want somebody to just sit and talk with and banter and say, hey, can we just have like an hour and I have some questions, please write them down before you come in. Because if you're like me, I know what I want at the grocery store until I get there. And then I go, what did I come here for? Oh yeah, dinner. What was dinner? Anyway, so write your questions down and let's have these conversations. And I'll start thinking whether you get a needs analysis or not from us. That's the brain is programmed that way. I'm going through it in my head like Tetris. thinking, okay, these are some of the things that are concerned for you or that you have questions, kind of an unknown. I want to retire in a year or two. I do have a couple, he calls it dog years. So he is retiring in 1 dog year, which is 7 years.
I like that.
Now I'm like, are you going to retire in 1 or 2 dog years? How many years are we looking at here? Let's have the conversations and let's get everything put in place. Like, there are people that have these 401ks that are lingering out there. So when I start talking to them about this dog year, what it's going to look like and getting us prepared for the next 7 years. Oh yeah, let's pull in those extra things and let's put this in the needs analysis and let's get a plan in place and let's start working it right now. Let's get this going. So when you come in, bring your questions. Know that there is no interrogation. This is a super simple, fun environment, very relaxing. If we can help you, great. If it works out, great. If not, you'll leave here with a bag of fresh popcorn. Right now, also Girl Scout cookies. Got lots of those. And so we're here to help you. We show up, we're giving it 2,000%, and I want to help those that want to be helped.
Absolutely. Yep. And again, we'd like to offer it to you today listening. Come in today for that custom financial needs analysis. Or if you'd like to just come in and meet, Suzanne and the team and ask some questions, get a feel for what it's like to work with Suzanne, we can do that as well over the phone. You can come in person, of course, right there off Main Street. Bottom line, it's all about helping you and creating your financial future. Again, for this custom financial needs analysis, that's 918-890-8311. 918-890-8311. The website, dimetodiamondsradio.com. That's going to do it for us this week. We appreciate you joining us. Love to hear from you. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, thank you guys so much for listening. We love being able to share our knowledge, and we really, really enjoy coming to the office every day, and we hope to see you guys come soon so we can hear your stories and hopefully make a positive impact on your world, because that's what we get joy from.
Yes, thank you for this hour that you've given us and allowing us to share our knowledge and our passions. And if we can help you, I look forward to talking with you either on the phone for that first appointment. If that's what you want to do, let us know, and then we can go from there, or come in. It's a beautiful time of the year right now. Broken Arrow downtown Rose District is amazing to walk. And we've got some great chocolate shops, ice cream shops, all kinds of fun things. And come in and say hi. Let's chat an hour and see if we can help you clarify some things. Have a great weekend.
When you retire, no more meetings, deadlines, and spreadsheets. Also, no more paycheck. What do? You call Suzanne Porsky at Phoenix Financial Group. To build that paycheck that comes in every month in retirement, call for a no-cost, no-obligation meeting. 918-980-8311 or at dimetodiamondsradio.com. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance products, including annuities, offered through Suzanne Porsky, NPN number 2624550. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Read your contract for restrictions, limitations, or penalties. Dime to Diamonds is a personal slogan and program inspired by overcoming challenges. It's motivational and does not guarantee financial results or performance.